In this case, we need one person that we all hold accountable.
Okay, recent Quinnipiac poll on this issue showed, and I'm sure you're happy with this number, 47% believe that mayoral control is working, but nearly a third, 31%, disagreed. Why are so many people still not sold on this mayor having control of the school system?
Well, I think there are a couple of things going on. Number one, education is tough no matter whether the mayor is doing a great job or only doing a very good job. You're still going to have a group of folk who are going to be upset because their child, their schools are not where they're supposed to be. The one thing we have to, I think, understand is that we're not going to improve New York City schools overnight. And when you begin to make tough decisions, the mayor made a decision around testing in the 3rd grade. It was very unpopular. I supported it. You know why? Because if my kids can't read, I want to know about it. I want to know about it in the 3rd grade. I want to hold people accountable. I think we've got to make sure that we are saying to everybody, our children are getting an education, and if they're not, we need to know who to hold accountable. When you make those kind of decisions, people get upset with you. They also they bungled a few things. People are still upset about the buses, right? They changed the bus routes in the middle of the school year. What a great thing. I love Joel. I think he's the best chancellor and the best school administrator in the country, but I thought they made a mistake there, and people are still mad over it. So I think those numbers reflect the fact that no matter what you do, you're going to have part of the people upset with you. I will tell you this. I run the Harlem Children's Home. You get a group of my parents together, I'd bet 20%. I won't say 33. I'd bet 20% would say, I'm mad with Jeff about something.
Really?
Yeah. And I think that's fair. I think that's fair. That kind of passion, if everybody said, oh, I'm happy, I'd say you cooked the numbers. You cooked the numbers. There's no way everybody's going to be happy when you're making tough decisions. Look, here's a perfect example. The chancellor decided he wanted to change some gifted and talented programs from more well-to-do communities into poorer communities. Do you know how much heat he got over that? It was all in the newspapers. It was a huge war because he said, look, why should all of these programs be in this place and these other areas have none? So, yes, are you going to get parents upset with you when you do that kind of stuff? Yes, you are. And I think it's the kind of stuff we have to do in the city if we're going to really make sure all children have a chance to learn.
Okay. The last time you were here, I tried to raise this issue, and I'm going to do it again now. I'm going to divert for 1 second, for 1 minute, and then we'll come back to mayoral control in the next segment. I have asked this question of the school's chancellor. I've asked this question of many people. But I am asking you, Geoffrey Canada, because you are an expert on education, and you have succeeded in areas where people said success was not possible with those children. And you know exactly what I mean by that. Exactly. So now I'm asking you, as a prominent African American, why is it in some urban areas we're seeing kids, like in New York, graduate at rates in 50%, 56, 54, whatever? It still amounts to 1 out of 2 kids. Why is it in cities like Detroit we're seeing a graduation rate of African American males of 31%? Yeah. Why is that?
Look, this is what's going on in these large urban centers. These kids are considered totally dispensable. They are just not relevant to the economies of these cities. They're not relevant to how the exurbs, the surrounding communities think about the cities. In a community where it is assumed that certain people are not going to make it, the place that gets played out is education. And this is whenever we start talking about inner city education, we're really talking about black and brown kids. And they are, that's just the bottom line. And when you have, and this is the one thing, when the mayor first did this, I actually thought he was joking when he said, hold me accountable for education, because I was thinking, look, I want to hold you accountable for education. This stuff don't get better. I'm going to be the first one to say so, but is this your constituency? These are poor black and brown kids. Are you sure you want to take this on? And you know what? In most cases, the answer is no. They don't want to take that on. It's hard. This is where I get in trouble with this, Dominic. This is the deal. If you get paid to work with these children and you don't do it, you should lose your job. And that's what I think should happen. I don't see any way around that. For decades, you can fail these kids for decades, and no one is yelling and screaming. They ought to be organizing in these communities saying, you're taking the money, educate our kids. We'll accept nothing less. And when, because the communities are so devastated, right? If this was happening in certain parts of Manhattan, if it was happening in certain parts of the wealthier communities, people would be out on the streets. Parents would be yelling and screaming, saying, get rid of those bombs, get rid of that superintendent, get rid of that principal, get rid. In poor communities, there's so much pressure on them. They've just decided, you know what, it's the kid's fault. The issue is, it's never was the kid's fault. It's not the kid's fault right now. And until we hold our political leadership accountable, and this is why I go to places and I say, who's in control of the school? And you know what I get? I get this. I get this. The mayor is saying, oh, Jeff, I wish there was something I could do. It's not. See, that's a system designed so that you can get your hands around it and say, look, you've got to fix this thing. It's on you. If it's broken, I'm blaming you. Most cases where this is happening, you can't find anybody to blame.